turning this to this. Alright, this is what we'll be learning today. This was actually footage that I had from the Every Haircut Challenge with 360 Jeezy. I had quite a bit for a full tutorial. I thought this would be a dope haircut to learn. My boy Black, a drop ball fade with the 1.5 on top. So let's get to it. As you can see, I only record one side because when I come to this side, the lighting gets really bad and then my shadow takes over. So I just stuck to one side of the footage. So let's get to it. Alright, so I'll start with, this is the drop fade. I'll start with the primary line, or this first line. I'll start it a little bit under the occipital bone. And then it'll gradually go up as I get towards the temple of the head. That's pretty much what a drop ball fade is. The difference between a drop ball fade and a ball fade with the primary line, which the line I'm putting in, it's kind of flush all the way around. It's pretty even. And the drop ball fade, it dramatically drops towards the back and gets higher as you get to the sides. Pretty much the only main difference. So with my boy Black, I'll put the primary line in. I like to do a hard indentation, which means I like to actually turn the trimmers over like I'm putting a permanent line in. For me, it helps with my symmetry. I love to line both sides up very evenly. I like a clean line. Sometimes when I feel like when you brush up like this right here, and when you brush up as I'm doing right here, and you don't hard lining, it slightly but still affects the way that fade comes out, my personal opinion. So I'll come back, as you can see, and I'll hard line it. I don't fear the hard line because whatever I put that line in with, I can always take it out with. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right there. Black is going to get a 1.5 on top. He hasn't had a haircut in about 2 weeks. His hair is very curly on top. So what I'll do is you'll see me actually lay the hair down with shaving cream or hot lather when I get to it, and it'll transform the total look of this cut. But you guys watch me get these lines in, and I'll be back when it's time to put the secondary line in. Alright, so I just wanted to say that these clippers that I'm using to cut his hair down is the Andy Supra ZR. It's a detachable clipper. Great clipper. I love it. It's a 5-speed motor, which means I can slow it down and I can speed it up 5 speeds. So for me personally, whenever I want to cut more hair off at a singular time or at one time, I'll turn the motor up. When I want to cut less hair off, then I'll cut the motor down. Alright, so now this is the secondary line. I'm using my Andes Masters. And when I put this secondary line in, you'll see when I do this tutorial, I'm very repetitive in certain spots. I'm just that type of barber. I feel like the more repetitive you are in a section, the more you can make that section look flawless. So, because you have to understand the hair is denser and the hair does not have a consistent density all the way around, which means some areas are more dense than others. So if I did only one pass with whatever stroke or whatever fade technique, or if I'm putting a secondary line in, it won't look the same. So I have to go back, I spot hit certain areas that are denser, and I'm just spot checking my work. So again, I'm very repetitive. And again, I stretch because when you're working in a small space like that, you want to extend your workspace by stretching the scalp. Stretching the skin or the scalp. Now I'm coming with my Babyliss FX, and I'm taking this primary line out. So, I'm taking this secondary section out. So what happens with this, right? You notice I'm not taking that line away. I'm actually fading. It's very important because I see a lot of barbers, social media, whatever, when they're working this section, they actually take this, they fade this area all the way out. And what happens when you don't blend this in very smoothly, it affects the final look on the cut. So that's why I literally just fade that primary line out, and then I just work up from there. This transition is small but extremely important, and you won't notice it until the cut is finished. It determines the overall look of the cut. So see, these are the little denser areas right here. His head has a little indentation in it. I just use the corner of the clipper. Now I'm reversing like a tiger claw method, and now I'm working that line out. Simple little techniques like that really help. So I'm very light with the clipper, and remember, I spoke on this a few videos ago. When you're fading, it's better to stroke from the wrist than the shoulder. When you do a stroke from the wrist, you have a more fluid, smooth motion. When you stroke from your shoulder, it's stiff and the fade looks stiff. So it's very important you stroke from the wrist and be very light-handed. These are high quality clippers, right? And if you maintain your clippers, they'll work the same, but the clipper will do the work. You don't have to be aggressive on the clipper, all right? So you guys watch me work this, remember, I'm very repetitive. Just watch my little nuances, my little movements, and I'll be back when it's time for the next step. Alrighty, so now it's time to debulk. As you know, I'm a big fan of debulking if you've ever watched my tutorials. And debulking is basically when you make a section of the hair thinner so that when it's time to actually fade or blend that section with another section, it makes it much easier. A phrase that I love to use is the lighter the area, the easier to fade, which means is if I'm, without debulking Black's hair right here, right? If I was to just try to blend this section together, it'll be so hard and that fade will most likely come out choppy. The transition wouldn't be as smooth because it's so dense, it's so thick. So what I do is I take larger guards and I work down. Sometimes 2, 1.5, 1, 1/16, and these masters open. But usually what I do is I just take a 1.5, a 1, and then I use my Andes Masters all the way open, right? It depends on the length of the hair. Since Black has a 1.5, I'll use a 1.5. If Black had a 2, I'll probably debulk with a 2 first. You have to play with it. And I just debulk. See, I'm stroking from the wrist. If you look at my hand placement on those clippers, it's very loose. I'm not aggressive. I'm not choking the clippers. I'm very loose and relaxed. I saw a little spot that I had to hit right there. Very important, right? If you utilize your clippers properly, you can maximize the output of the clipper, right? And it comes with technique and practice. I love to fade with the comb because it spaces the hair out. When you use a brush, it kind of clumps the hair together. Now, it helps you see the style better when you use a brush, but for me to get a better or optimal cut, I'll use the comb to actually space the hair. All right, so I'm at the debulk 1.5, debulk with the 1, and I'll be back shortly. If I see anything that I want to touch up on, I'll come see you guys soon. But see that, boom, comb, brush a few strokes, comb a few strokes. Very important, because what happens is as I fade that hair, the hair kind of lays out of its growth pattern. See, watch, boom, I cut. Now I have to put it back. Put it back. Boom, put it back. All right, see you guys soon. All right, so now it's time to combine the sections. You saw me debug. See, now look how easy it is to fade this area because of how light it is. Imagine me trying to blend these two sections without debulking, right? Debulking is not necessary, but it's so much easier. All right, so now I just come through and I'll combine the two sections with my Andy Masters. The reason why I use the Andy's Masters is because the lever, the range on this clipper with no guard is amazing, so large, right? That's what she said. I'm sorry, I had to do that. All right, so then I use the Tiger Claw method again, and I just work my sections. Remember, if you don't learn anything else from this video, it's important to understand wrist control. Look, I'm stroking from my wrist, not from my shoulder. It's little spot hits, okay? Spot hitting, debulking. I'm sorry, not debulking. Hitting the dense areas. That's all I'm doing, you guys. I'm just working back and forth. I'll let you guys just go ahead and watch it. But see, you can conquer any hair texture with proper technique. I'll be back when it's time to put the hot lather on, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. All right, so this is the cheat right here. Your hot lather helps lay the hair down. It helps open up those hair cuticles, which is the outermost layer of the hair, so that when I use the razor, it'll be easier to edge them up. And that's it. You know, lay the hair down is like a style. Simple, hot, lays the hair down, makes the hair feels good, helps maintain the hair. Then I come back with a warm rag for about 15, 20 seconds. Sometimes just wipe it off. And boom, I wish you guys can see the shine, but my lighting is bad right now. Oh, it's beautiful. Small techniques, small nuances, all right? I'm about to be back in literally about 5 seconds to show you guys me razor edging. So I was gonna leave, but I take this time to point out, once you lay the hair down, it shows you spots that you can go back and fix. So I actually saw some dense spots, some bulky spots that I can hit now that the hair lays down. See, that's another benefit of laying the hair down before. Look at that, boom, little spots. You might not notice them, you probably do, but I'll go back and hit those. It's very important when you lay the hair down that you see before they leave, so they won't see after you wash their hair, and then you can't do anything about it. All right, so now I use Elegant Shave Gel. Put a nice amount, because I like the weight when you add a lot of gel. It helps lay the hair down, especially when the client has curly hair, so that when you edge them, the hair won't run away. I love to use the razor first. All right, so I stretch from the top and bottom to maintain where that natural line is, so I don't pull the edge up or I don't pull the edge up down. So I stretch very carefully from both spots. Black has a few thin spots on this edge up, and this edge up is not as even, so I just be careful and mindful of that. You kind of can sew with the edge up. I don't want to sound crazy, but if you watch the edge up, communicate with it with eye contact, you will find what you need to find and know how you need to work the edge up. I don't have to push them back. I just keep it nice and natural. Now, some spots you may have to push back if the hair grows unevenly, but usually when we say push back, we mean extremely far. So we don't want to do that. Then I come back and I clean part of that fade out. This is another trick of mine. I clean the edge of that fade up with the razors, then I go back with the edges to blend that in. That makes the illusion of that fade being razor edged all the way around, and it looks super smooth. All right, you guys watch, and I'll be back when it's time for the cleanup. But see, I like to get in there, get the small details. Come back with my edgers, clean it up. Sometimes I put a little holding spray on there to hit them even more, and boom, boom, boom. So I'll be back. Stay around, because the most important part is coming up last. This is where the gold is at, the cleanup. You go back, you finalize your work. You put your stamp on it. You hit those little roach legs, you hit any blemishes you see, but look at that fade. Tell me that's not beautiful. It came out amazing. Hope you guys enjoyed this quick tutorial. I hope you caught some nuggets. I hope I really helped you out. Remember to like, subscribe. And hey, you guys let me know if you want to see a house tour. I got a family channel where we vlog. You guys go check it out, Just Right Family. But I think I'm gonna post my house tour on here, and I want to drop a video on how to get approved for a nice home as a barber or entrepreneur. So let me know if you guys want to check out a house tour. I'll upload it tomorrow if you do. And go check out our family channel, Just Right Family. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. More heat coming soon. Stay tuned. Thank you.